So let us see MCQ questions on communication. The ability of a radar to determine the bearing of a target depends on what will be the answer. It depends on the antenna directivity. Before I go ahead, there are various MCQs which will be repeated. So don't worry about that. That will only be a repetition or a revision kind of thing. So Doppler effect allows which characteristics of a target to be measured? Distance, azimuth, altitude, or speed. It is the speed. The Doppler effect allows speed of a target to be measured. The Doppler effect is a change in what signal characteristics produced by the relative motion between radar set and a target. A Doppler effect can be anywhere. It's a very common phenomenon. So it is actually frequency, right? This is frequency change. The most widely used radar transmitter component is what? The most widely used radar transmitter component is magnetron. You have magnetron here. Low power radio transmitters and receivers use which component? Low power radar transmitter and receivers use gun diode. They use gun diode. So what component in a duplexer protects the receiver from the high transmitter output? It is spark gap. The spark gap. Otherwise, it will be heated up. So most radar antenna use a horn and parabolic reflector. Horn and parabolic reflector. And horn is the most popular antenna as well. So the most common radar display is the PPI. PPI is the most common radar display. And a radar antenna using multiple dipoles or slot antennas in a matrix with variable phase shifters is called a phased array. It's called a phased array. Which of the following is a typical radar operating frequency? It's 10 GHz. 10 GHz is the typical radar operating frequency. A microwave system requires the use of repeaters. When? Repeaters, these are the objective, or you can say they are the devices which actually increases or try to improve the power of the fading or attenuating propagation waves as they go or as they travel along a distance. So repeater actually enhances them, gives them energy, gives them boost up. So microwave system requires the use of repeaters when the distance involves are greater. This is greater, G-R-E-A-T-E-R. Now, are transmission lines which convey electromagnetic waves in highest frequency? Okay, this transmission line which convey electromagnetic waves in highest frequencies are waveguides. The microwave band of 10.9 to 36 GHz is considered as what? K-band. K-band. Now, microwave communication system space loss calculation formula. This is very important because this is often asked, or people may also request you to write this. So, microwave communication system space loss is very important. This is given by 92.4 20 log f plus 20 log d. So this is true answer. 92.4 plus 20 log f plus 20 log d. So f is the frequency, d is the distance. The waveguide is also a high pass filter. Waveguide is a high pass filter. So a method of diversity reception when the signal is transmitted on two different frequencies over the same path is frequency diversity. Frequency diversity. A wire used to reduce the skin effect is Litz wire. This is the Litz wire. Space diversity transmission means transmitting and receiving on two or more antennas operating at the same frequency. So space diversity transmission means transmitting and then receiving on two or more antennas which are operating on the same frequencies. So the best system configuration to overcome multipath fading of microwave system over the water. What is this? Now we have to speak about which is the best system configuration. to overcome this multi-path fading of microwave system over the water when it travels over the water. This is frequency diversity. Frequency diversity. So when the value of k increases, the effective result is dash of the equivalent curvature. What is this? K, as you have seen, it is 4 by 3 or any other number normally taken as 4 by 3. It is flattening. When the value of k increases, the effective result is flattening of the equivalent curvature because we are speaking about a ellipse. An ellipse has inverse flattening. So this is a very important factor as far as this case is concerned. Now a travelling wave tube consists of electron gun, helix and collector. The advantages of periscope antenna in microwave. It shortens the waveguide length. So what is the cutoff frequency of a waveguide? The lowest frequency the waveguide can operate is the cutoff frequency. But when the clearance above the obstruction is equal to the radii of even Fresnel zones at the point of reflection. Now the RSL is when the clearance above the obstruction, there are Fresnel zones. Now there is a clearance of propagation above the obstruction is equal to the radii of even Fresnel zones. There are even and odd Fresnel zones at the point of reflection. The RSL is decreased. Now what is the wavelength of a wave in a waveguide? It is greater than in a free space. The wavelength of a wave in a waveguide is greater than in a free space. CCIR. This is International Radio Consultative Committee. CCIR, hypothetical reference circuit covering a distance of 25,000 km, consists of a total of how many hops? It's 54 hops. So, water causes more attenuation, particularly on what frequency? Water causes more attenuation, particularly on what frequencies? It is 183 GHz. At what frequency does oxygen causes excessive attenuation? 60 GHz. Water at 183 and oxygen at 60 GHz. Which of the following is an atmospheric attenuation? Which one of this is atmospheric attenuation? Is water vapor and oxygen. Others are very less. The prominent attenuating factors are water vapor and oxygen. Now this is a microwave link between downtown terminal and another out of town terminal. Which is this? It is terrestrial. Terrestrial is a microwave link between downtown terminal and other out of town terminal. The attenuator is used in the travelling wave tube to prevent oscillation. Now, is the method of diversity reception applied to reflective path to reduce fading? Which is the method? Space diversity. Space diversity is applied to reflective path to reduce fading. Now, what is the effective earth radius used in communication design? It is K into 4,000 miles. K into 4. Here we have seen what was the number 4 by 3. And IF frequency of a radar system is inversely proportional to the pulse width. Now EADI stands for what? EADI stands for electronic altitude and director indicator. Electronic altitude and director indicator. So which aircraft navigation system determines the time to station or time to go? TTS and TTG. This is DME. DME is aircraft navigation system which determines these two. What frequency does a radio altimeter operate? It operates at 43,500 MHz. Now, when in-flight system allows passenger to make phone calls, send faxes, and computer data short and play counter games, what in-flight system is there? It is terrestrial flight telephone system. ADF stands for automatic direction finder. RF carrier of middle marker is modulated at which frequency? Which has 1300. Which of the following is considered as the major advantage of using a helix travelling wave tube? High power. High power is the major advantage of using helix travelling wave tube. Radar is radio detection and ranging. So it is radio detection and ranging. Attenuator is used in the traveling waveguide to prevent oscillation. The multi-cavity klystron is not a good low-level amplifier because of the noise. So this one is correct. Magnetron oscillator are used to generate SHF signals. We have already seen this one. So microwave tube, which has the advantage of having high efficiency, is cross-field amplifier. Now, what term is used to describe the variation in microwave oscillator frequency caused by power supply voltage or current changes? It is frequency pushing. Now, waveguides are a hollow tube that carries HF. Now, the TWT is sometimes referred to the multi-cavity klystron amplifier because of the former. Why? Former has a higher bandwidth. TWT has a higher bandwidth than multi-cavity klystron. Variation in oscillator frequency with changes in load as to WR is frequency pulling. So it is the frequency change of an electronically turned oscillator at a specified time after it has reached its desired frequency is post-Turing drift. So what is the power level of smallest signal that can be detected above the noise by Schottky diode? Which one of this? It is minus 60 dBm. That is, dBm is decibel in milliwatt. So it is minus 60 dBm. So what is the power level of larger signal that will still be in the square law range of Schottky diode? It will be minus 20. So it ranges from minus 60 to minus 20. So a component that combines microwave signals from separate transmission line into one common transmission line and allows no coupling between several lines. What are these? These are combiners. Telemetry is a microwave communication system which operates at 2 GHz. Telemetry, microwave communication, operates at 2 GHz. Now, what is the maximum power that can be obtained from a microwave semiconductor? What is the maximum power? It is 10 watt. 10 watt is the maximum power that can be obtained from a microwave semiconductor. Now, the cavity magnetron uses trapping to prevent mode jumping. As a result of reflection from the plane conducting wall, electromagnetic waves acquire an apparent velocity greater than the velocity of light in space. Okay, this is a very interesting phenomenon. This is called the phase velocity. Now, which of the following is a method of modulating digital signals onto a microwave carrier? Modulation. This is all of them. You use FSK, frequency shift keying, biphase, quarter phase. Suppose that the transmitter and receiver towers have equal heights. Okay, how high they have to be communicate over a distance of 34 km. I hope you will be able to find it out. Okay, it's just by 2 we have done. 34 by 2 is 17 meter. 17 meter actually they have to be to communicate over a distance of 34 kilometer if they have an equal height. The AM isolator is they act as a buffer between microwave oscillator coupled to a waveguide, and it acts as a buffer to protect the microwave oscillator from variations in the load changes also. So a microwave relay repeater that receives the modulator microwave carrier and obtains the baseband signal from it, and then modulates the baseband signal onto another carrier and retransmit the new carrier with the baseband modulated onto it is baseband repeater. Which is the frequency range of most common industrial microwave relay band? It is 6.575 to 6.875 GHz. This is the most common frequency range for most common industrial microwave relay band. 6.575 to 6.875. When a particular mode is excited in the waveguide, there appears an extra electric component in the direction of the propagation. The resulting mode is transverse magnetic. The resulting mode is transverse magnetic. So waveguide construction should not have long horizontal runs. Waveguide construction should not have longer horizontal runs. So a choke flange may be used to couple two waveguides to compensate the discontinuities at the joint. A pin diode is suitable for use as a microwave switch. So for some applications, circular waveguides may be used, preferred to rectangular ones, because for some applications this circular waveguide may be used preferred to these rectangular ones because of lower attenuation. A circulator, what is a circulator? It allows one antenna to feed two separate microwave transmitters and receiver at the same time. A Ruby master amplifier must be cooled because it cannot operate at room temperature. Ruby master, else it will catch fire. The glass tube of TWT may be coated with aqueduct to provide attenuation. This we have already seen. Now an antenna covering that the transmitter or receives microwave power can pass through. This is used to protect the antenna and the antenna feed from weather. This is Tanenbaum. So waveguides what are these? Hollow metal conductors used to carry high frequency current. Waveguides are hollow metal conductors used to carry high frequency current. So a microwave device which is unlikely to be used, a pulse device, it is based on the principle of operating of a traveling wave tube. So which is the answer? Backward wave oscillator, BWO. Now a magnetic field is used in the cavity magnetron to ensure that electron will orbit around the cathode. These are electrons actually. So a magnetron whose oscillating frequency is electronically adjustable over a wide range is called what? It is a VTM. It's a type of magnetron only. Now a conductance takes place in a waveguide through electromagnetic and electrostatic fields in the walls of the waveguide. Now indicate the false statement in these options. Clysteron amplifiers may be intermediate cavities to prevent the oscillators that occurs into cavity. No, this is the false. The primary purpose of the helix in a traveling wave tube is to reduce the axial velocity of the RF field. Okay, the primary purpose of this helix is to reduce the axial velocity of RF field. So microwave device which allows RF energy to pass through in one direction with very little loss but absorbs RF power in the opposite direction is what? Is an isolator. We have seen this already. So parametric amplifier must be cooled to improve the noise performance. For lower attenuation, the best transmission medium is rectangular waveguide. Otherwise, we'll use circular. IF repeaters are also called as heterodyne receivers. And it is the difference between nominal output power of transmitted and minimum input power required by the receiver. What is this? System gain. So system gain is the difference between the nominal output power of a transmitter and the minimum input power required by the receiver. System gain. So a phenomena whereby the frequency of a reflected signal is shifted if there is a relative motion between the source and reflecting object, of course, Doppler effect. A ferrite it is a non-conductor with magnetic properties. The primary purpose of the helix in a traveling waveguide is to reduce the axial velocity of RF guide. We have seen this. Now the attenuator is used in a traveling waveguide to prevent oscillation, also seen. A magnetron is used only as oscillator. A backward wave oscillator is based on traveling waveguide. Backward wave oscillator is based on traveling waveguide. So strip line and microstrip transmission lines are usually made with PCBs. So which of the following is not a microwave tube? Cathode ray tube. These are not a microwave tube. So indicate which is not true compared with other types of